I tell you what, you never want to go into any sort of a break, whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmas, with the loss. So I'm really proud of our guys of being able to go in and get that win against a team, quite frankly, we wouldn't have beat last year because we couldn't have been able to handle the pressure. We came into this game number 5 in the nation in terms of taking care of the basketball and turnover margin. And I showed our guys that also to come away from a game like this, a team that presses 100% of the time with only 13 turnovers, just speaks well of the way our guys are taking care of the basketball. And I thought, I know you'll look at, the stats, and you'll figure out like maybe who's the player of the game, but to me, without a question, the player of the game was Trey Keller. His ability for us to be able to switch all the ball screens and for him to be able to guard guards and switch handoffs and things like that, you know, really just changed the game for us defensively because we had problems with our rotations when we weren't switching 5 ways on the ball screen. So we were getting caught on rotations because we had to scissor to the 5-minute to shoot the basketball and then quickly rotate it to the corner, and that guy either shot a 3 or he drove by us. So his ability to switch the ball screen, I thought, was the key to the game for us.
How about him offensively? I know he finished with 15 points. You guys 38 in the paint. I mean, a lot of that was from him.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's 2 things. I thought guys like Daniel, whose ability to get into the paint and be comfortable and make plays, made those opportunities for guys like Antonius and Trey. They were the ones finishing it, but I thought Daniel was the one who started it.
I mentioned the same thing to them about Daniel. It seems like you don't lose much when you put him in there for Dondre. Both those two together kind of play a similar style. Do you kind of see that? Yeah,
I think Daniel is just bigger and stronger at this point in time, so like he can get down there and sit down and there's no contact that affects him. Dondre, you know, is not as big and strong as Daniel, and I think Daniel shoots a little bit better than Dondre, but Dondre is a little bit more explosive and quick. So, you know, Dondre's been hurt for quite some time, so he's still trying to figure things out and find his way along with Jonathan Dalton. I think the fact that we have options now, I mean, that's the bottom line. We didn't have those options last year.
Yeah, you know, those turnovers, I know in the second half, they really affected you guys. Was it the press more so, and then, you know, your guys' ability to kind of withstand that and then go on a little bit of a run there? You know, how big was that?
Well, I think it's 2 things. First of all, I thought we were trying to make long passes to the middle. And anytime you're passing the ball to the middle, you got to have short passes. And I thought we didn't go meet our passes. I told those guys, like, you got to be a wide receiver, and you're in the secondary. You can't let a cornerback or a safety come in front of you. Like, you have to go attack the pass and meet the pass. So I thought we were making too long of passes, and then also I thought that we weren't going to meet the passes. And the other thing is, when you're playing against a pressing team, you can't throw bounce passes. They're just too slow. So I told our guys, bounce passes have to be for layups. That's it.
How about offensively, though, during that, when you guys were able to kind of separate yourselves? I know Jamal knocked down some really big shots for you. And then it seemed like Antonius just really kind of asserted himself a little bit more on the offensive end in terms of just kind of attacking the basket against that press. What did you see offensively?
Well, I think the first thing is I had a discussion with Jamal before the game. We had a meeting yesterday and just showed him his percentages. He's shooting 33% from the 3-point line, but he's only shooting like maybe 19% from twos. So I said, hey, I'm no genius here, but let's take more 3s than 2s if that's going to be the way. And he's got an 11-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio coming into this game, so he's done a tremendous job of taking care of the basketball. And I'll tell you this, with Antonius Cleveland, it boiled down to this. He only played 9 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. And so he was able to play more minutes in the second half, and it's always good for the Red Hawks when he's on the court.
Did you like the way he played, though, in the second half in terms of, you know, obviously he had a couple fouls that he brought into the half. Did he play a pretty clean half, though, from what you saw?
Yeah, I thought so. And, you know, when you're playing a team that presses, you have to make them pay for pressing. That's it. I mean, they'll continue to, like, you can't be in a passive mode. You can't be in like, I'm just trying to take care of the basketball. Like, you got numbers. Once you get the ball to the middle, once you get it up the sideline, and you have to be in attack mode. If not, they'll keep you on your heels the whole game.
I know going in this game, Antonio Green was a guy who was shooting like 44% from 3. He was shooting better from 3 than 2. We talked about it yesterday. He shot 25% today. And I know they had some other guys that really knocked down some 3s, but if he's taking 8 shots and he's only hitting 25% of them, how big was that for you guys? Were you guys closing out pretty well on him?
Yeah, we told him, like, make him bounce the basketball. We want to be solid on our closeouts, but I could care less about being solid on the closeouts against him. You have to make him bounce the ball. I said, I don't want anybody, like, looking over at me after he shoots a 3 in your eye and say, like, I closed out, I had hands. Doesn't matter. Make him bounce the basketball.
For you guys shooting, you're 9 of 19 from 3. Is this one of your better three-point performances that you've seen from these guys this year?
Yeah, I think more so than anything, they were quality attempts. To me, I could care less if we shoot 10 threes or we shoot 20 threes. To me, like, just as long as they're quality attempts, that's what we got to be concerned about.
How about the battle on the boards? It kind of surprised me. I mean, you guys 40 rebounds, they get 28. You guys seem pretty aggressive. I know there was even one chance I know during that run where Antonius pulled down like 2 rebounds. It was like a third, fourth chance opportunity. I mean, it seemed like they were really getting after it on the boards in the second half.
And I tell you what, when you play a team that presses and traps and gambles, you're going to have an opportunity on the glass because, like, you're in a held position the whole time. And so now it's almost impossible to get blockouts from that situation. So we told our guys we could have some success on the glass because they're going to be out of position to go block you out.
And you guys had 10 guys score in the first half. You talk about depth, Coach. I mean, how big is this team's depth right now as you guys are able to get it kind of back above 500 here right now?
When I tell you this, you're talking about an integral part of our team, a team captain, Joel Angus, that's not even involved in that rotation, and definitely would have been involved in that rotation if he was in. And then a guy like Ray Kowalski, who, if he didn't have the knee surgery, would probably been in the mix as well because of his ability to shoot the basketball. But like I said before, it's just good to have options. And at the end of the day, too, it holds guys accountable. Jalen Benton had been a guy who's been in our rotation the past 2 games, and he comes out there and gets in the rotation and does some positive things. And we talk to our guys about, like, hey, you can sulk, you can be pissed off about your opportunity of not playing, and then kind of disassociate yourself from the team. But now, like I'm telling you, when your time comes, you're not going to be prepared to be successful. So it's all about how we approach and how we handle each opportunity.
With the way this team's playing right now?
Well, I think the first thing is that, guys are starting to believe and starting to buy in. We still got a long ways to go defensively, but we've got some options on the offensive end that when our defense is not clicking on all cylinders, we still have the ability to score. And I think that's the biggest thing that we were missing last year is that we had to be so good defensively because we were so bad offensively. We couldn't shoot the basketball. We definitely didn't take care of the basketball. Now, because we have more talent, we can kind of like not be as well and like live vicariously just through our defense in order for us to still win a game. And so, like, we still got huge strides to go defensively because there's going to be times when we don't knock down, 9 3-pointers in the game. And so we got to grow in that regard, but just the fact that we can still have success without being a great defensive team just shows you where we can go.
I guess lastly, can you update me a little bit about the Joel situation? I know you said that he is going to go through with the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
How has he kind of handled that, and how did that decision come about?
Well, he's obviously disappointed. Anytime you have a chance to go play your senior season and you don't get that opportunity because of an injury, he's disappointed. I told him at the end of the day, we always want to do what's best for the student-athlete's welfare. I said, don't concern yourself with the team on this. You got to be selfish. So if the best thing for you to do is to have the surgery in order for you to come back 100% and be the best player that you can be, do that, okay? I just wanted him to know that we'll be there for him. Don't worry about like next year, the scholarship opportunity. We'll figure those things out, and you'll be an integral part of our team. There was apparently he has kind of a bone spur in that hip joint. And so it was rubbing up against his hip and causing that tear and that laceration. So they need to go in there and shave off that bone fragment and then obviously repair the laceration. He shouldn't have any problems beyond that. So I've never been in a situation, obviously, where you see somebody and they come out of surgery and you ask them how did the surgery go? Oh, it didn't go very well at all. We screwed that whole thing up. So I've never heard that before. Joel is a conscientious young man. I'm sure he'll attack the rehab the right way. But the thing I told him is, like, there's no reason to be rushing back at this point in time. You don't need to be ready until November. You got to make sure that you don't put yourself in harm's way by trying to do too much for this rehab. So, what I want him to do is, I said, you're still team captain. You know, so you guys still be involved and still help guys out because like your voice will matter a lot, especially when the coaches are not around.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats on the win.